Hi everybody, I want to welcome you back to the IE427 garage. Today a little dually content for you. I was doing my monthly maintenance on the dually, which usually just consists of opening up the hood and checking on the battery tender, and the red light on the battery tender was on, which isn't normal. Normally if the battery tender is in storage mode, the light's green and it just stays there. It doesn't go back and forth, it doesn't fluctuate, but it was red. And so I figured first what I would do is, since these are wet cell batteries, I would check the water level in the batteries. And sure enough, two of the cells in one of the batteries was low, meaning the tops of the plates were just exposed. So I grabbed some distilled water, and you have to make that distinction. It has to be distilled water. Cannot have anything with minerals in it because it eats the plates. So I went ahead, I added some distilled water, and then I let it sit on the charger all night. And I could tell when I first opened the hood that the batteries were really low, because the under hood light right here, which isn't on right now because the batteries are disconnected, it was really dim. And so I went ahead and went in the car, or went in the truck, and turned the key, and the glow plugs, I couldn't even get the solenoid for the glow plugs to click. So that was a pretty good indication that the batteries had drained down to a level that they weren't going to come back. But I put some water in, checked all the level on the rest of the cells, and I let it sit overnight. It's the same this morning. So I'm going to head out to my favorite battery shop over in Glendora, and I'm going to see if I can pick up two new batteries for this. These batteries were actually dated September of 12. So they're 9 years old. And we got good use out of these batteries. We have been to Northern California dragging the trailer, Utah, Las Vegas or Nevada, Texas. We made a trip all the way out to Ohio for the London, Ohio Cobra Club meet. So the batteries have done what they were supposed to do over these last 9 years, so I'm not complaining about it. But today I'm just going to go through changing the batteries. I have already disconnected them. They are in the back of the Ranger pickup. Safety tip, always disconnect your negatives first. When you're doing a dual battery like this one, disconnect the battery negative on one, and then don't pull that battery out right away. Just go right over to the other battery and disconnect the negative over there too. And then you're safe. Or somewhat safe. Then go ahead and disconnect your positives on both and pull your batteries. So we've got this all ready. I've got them loaded in the back of the truck. The battery shop doesn't open till 11 because it's a Saturday. And I'm going to go down there. I'm going to get two new batteries, grab some breakfast for myself while I'm out. And then I'm going to come back here to the shop and put these batteries in and see if we can get the old girl to fire up and be her old self again. Back from my favorite battery store in Glendora. Picked up essentially the same battery I had. Previous one was from the big box store, whose batteries are made by Interstate. Those batteries, they lasted a good long time. I have no complaints. This one is from Deca. We'll see how these last. The truck sits for extended periods of time, just stored, and it's on a battery tender to keep the battery charged. The only thing I'm not digging about this battery is, it's maintenance free, which means the caps are underneath the sticker. But I don't think that's going to stop me. I'll probably, not for the first year, but probably after that, I will pull the sticker back enough that I can get to the caps and check the water level in it, just so that we can make sure this thing stays nice and charged. There are two of these, so they offered me these Decas that are made here in Pennsylvania, and they offered me a import, which I'm assuming is probably made in China. The ones that were made offshore were only a 650 cold cranking amp. And with the 7.3 liter diesel that is in the dually, I'm not willing to drop down to that, I don't know, that size of a battery basically to save a few dollars. The battery was half. It was half the cost. So I think these out the door, both batteries were like $299. The other two batteries were $75 a piece, so I would have been at, you know, $150 plus tax. So I probably would have been at 165, something like that. But I've got one of the batteries mounted. This is a good time while you've got the batteries out to inspect the tray. I did that. I've got a little bit of surface rusting on it, but it's not from the battery. I think it was just a little bit of moisture. So I took a rag, I sprayed some WD-40 on it, I wiped the inside of the tray down. So I think that's going to be fine. I've got this one all bolted in place, so it's ready to go. I'm going to get the other one in place here. But as I said, it's a good time to take a look around, and if there's any debris in the battery tray, you know, insects, bugs, that kind of stuff, go ahead and vacuum it out. And then if you see any indication of, you know, serious rust, you may want to think about replacing the battery tray. Like I said, there's just some surface rust on here. I'm just going to wipe it down and then put the battery in there. I think it's going to be just fine. I mean, the truck's almost 30 years old, guys. It's in, you know, beautiful shape because, one, I take care of it, and two, it doesn't have a whole lot of miles on it, and it's garage kept. But these are the third set of batteries that I've had in the car since new. The original ones lasted from 1995 until, I'm assuming, 2012. So I got my money's worth out of those first two batteries as well. I'm hoping I get some good use out of these. I think if I would have stayed on top of the water level, that I probably would have been fine. But it's been at least a month since I opened the hood of the dually. I'm pretty good at opening the hood every month or so to check to make sure that the battery tender is doing its thing and everything is fine. And this time it caught me. So I probably should have checked a couple of months ago, even though the green light was on and they were, you know, it showed that they were fully charged. I probably should have checked the level inside the batteries, but you know, 9-10 years, that's an awful long life for a battery anyway. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to get that other one put in there. I will get everything connected, and then I'll bring you guys back for a final look at it. And there you go. Batteries are in. I went ahead and I sprayed some of the protectant on top of the terminal posts and the connectors. Since this one's kind of hard to get to, I figure it couldn't hurt. I generally spray that stuff on when I change the battery anyway. And then we have the battery tender hooked back up, and it immediately went to green. So it looks as though these batteries are topped off and they do not require any charging right now. I've got the vacuum out because I went ahead and vacuumed out both sides, the battery trays. And now I'm going to go through, I'm going to check the oil, I'm going to check the coolant level and all that kind of stuff, since the car's been sitting here for a while, or the truck's been sitting here for a while, just to make sure that everything's good there. And I think that's it. I'm not going to leave this running for all that long, guys, because I don't have the door open, but fired right up. This thing hasn't been started in months, and I just love this truck. I could take it out and drive it across country right now, and it wouldn't mind at all. All right. That's going to do it. I'm going to leave it there. I want to thank you guys all for watching. I'm going to pull this thing out. I'm going to let it run and bring it up to operating temperature outside. But I wanted to make sure that I could at least start it after changing the batteries and that nothing had gone haywire in the midst of all this. I noticed that as soon as I started it, now the battery tender, the red light came on. So we know that the battery tender is doing its thing. It'll top those batteries off, and we'll be good to go for the next time that we want to take the truck out and do a car show or drive it across country and pull the box trailer with the Cobra inside of it. So thank you again all for watching. I know these aren't often the most popular videos, you know, just maintenance kind of stuff, but nonetheless, it's time I spend in the shop, so I figured I'd share it with you. If you're enjoying any of the content, including this, do the like, the share, the subscribe, put your questions and comments down in the comments, and we'll do our best to answer or reply to them. And we'll see you guys all next time. Have a great day.